Everything's really dirty. My filters are disgusting. I'm going to put a filter on here in a minute. Guess I'm going to go with this one. Just going to run some research vids. I haven't done any videos in a couple months. I was shut off of YouTube. I got nailed on a couple videos, and then so I had 2 strikes within 90 days, and then as soon as so I had to stay away for a while, and then as soon as those 90 days were up, they went and got 2 other videos. I only added a couple of videos, and I was being very careful about what I was doing, and they still got nailed anyway. Yeah, so anyway, YouTube was throwing me off, and I got thrown off again. I left notices on there as it was going on, as things were happening. So July 15th, both channels, I believe it is, July 15th and 16th. Then I start over on my 90 days. So I figured I'd start running some research vids too. So I've been watching my channel, watching all the research vids back and everything like that. They're really good. I guess I could go remaster them. Over the last few months that I've been watching and keeping an eye on things, I've maybe had, I don't know, maybe 10 subscribers come on and then leave again. So I'm right back down to what I was as far as subscribers go, or anybody paying attention to what it is I'm showing them. Back down to what I had before I left. I think I'm at 129 on the Michael Oziak channel. I was at 128 beforehand. I picked up, so I picked up 2 new ones, and one dropped out. It stayed out, and then, like I said, one here, one there comes in, and then leaves. I was just watching a video. First time about maybe a half hour, an hour ago, I was getting ready to head out, and I had this channel on. It's called Next Level Souls, or something along those lines. Is the channel, and they had a woman on there who was talking about her near-death experience. But it's funny, she's perfectly describing, and I've heard a lot of near-death experiences, like we all have, and you hear their stories and everything like that, but never ever have I heard it told the way that this woman told it. It's pretty interesting. So I got shit to do today, so I don't have time to get into it. But when I do start making videos again, I want to go back to her and just, I don't know if she has a channel or not or anything like that. She might. If she's got a channel, I'll look for it, because then I'll do a series to her. She describes the system perfectly. She describes the system, everything that I'm telling you guys that we can see in our everyday lives. It took her having to get to the other side in order to see it. But I mean, everything is perfectly described as far as she talks about, for example, let me turn this thing around. When I tell you guys about the true creator's energy, and that the fact when we're using it, time is all one. She didn't describe it as all one, but she described it as when she went in, when she was there, she could go to all different spaces of time. And they were trying to describe it as a hologram type thing, because really, and I understand that, but she wasn't committing to calling it that. She just she allows the narrator to the interviewer to describe it that way, and she says, okay, you know, she's not describing that way. She allowed him to, just so people could wrap their head around about what she was talking about. But I understand it in an even deeper way, because we can see it all around us all the time. We don't have to be dead to see it and understand it. We just do it that way because we've been lied to so bad about it by everybody. So that was one thing that I thought was pretty cool, is that she's talking about being able to go and see her future husband, and then she had other scenarios that were played out. She could go to these other scenarios where she was older than her husband, and all these interesting things. I'll play the video when I get a chance. I'll go and play that video. Make sure this thing's down enough. Let's see. There we go. But everything, even when she talked about going there, she talked about in a whole different way. It had nothing to do with Christianity or religion. She was more trying to describe it as a spirituality type of thing, more so than anything else. She wasn't like saying that she saw angels, like you'll hear a lot of people say they see angels and everything. And another thing, the biggest thing that got me, I would say, is that when she described seeing people, I was ready to be disappointed, right? Because that's not the way it works. But then she went on to describe that no eyes, no faces, no body, no arms, no nothing, but she could see them. When she saw their energy, she knew who the energy was. So she was using a conscious memory when she was in a subconscious realm in order to put a face on an entity, on an energy. She could feel the energy, and she wanted to put a visual recognition of the energy behind it, and that's what her subconscious allowed her to do that. But in order to do that, the only place she would get that picture of an image of somebody, a person, or any image for that matter, is here in the bio realm, in your conscious state. So nobody knows that. Only I know that. And like I told you, there are probably a few thousand others around on this earth right now that are experiencing the same thing that I am, but they're not able to get out to anybody or each other. And then it's just everything, it always falls on deaf ears. It's hard to explain to people. It's easier to show it to them, so that's another problem. So yeah, she talked about that, about them not having any images like that. So when she said that, I knew she was in the right place. And I knew that it was not a, because see, a lot of near-death, every other one that I've ever heard, near-death experience I've ever heard, and heard it explained, it doesn't really work that way. So to me, it seems like they are taking their conscious selves with them, and I'm always careful now not to do that. Obviously, some of it does have to be taken, because in order to get those images in our mind, but it doesn't have to be, because you're going to recognize that that's what you're doing. When you're in there, you're going to recognize, oh, it's an energy, not just, but it's an energy. And the fact that I'm seeing my father's image, or my dead auntie, or my great grandmother when she was in her 20s, going by a picture that I seen of her, so I know the energy. So I need a conscious image to put with that entity, with that energy, right? Because that is the way it works. The other thing that you have to remember, and I've been trying to get through to people too, is that all of the religions, we've been lied to about all of the religions. So, that's not easy for anybody to take in or understand, but it is true. They're all lies. There's little trickles of truth in them, but you might as well just start over. There's no sense in using any of them, because it makes it too confusing. If you're gonna look at in some things, you're gonna see, okay, that's one little dibble of truth, or you might get one word or one sentence that might be relatably true in some way, that you have to twist the actual words around in order, and sometimes put the words backwards. They'll have a backward meaning. That's what I mean by a truth. So why even bother? Why should we have to fuck around in order to find a truth in something, to have to play all these games? It's just not worth it. And then when you finally figure it out, and you twist everything around, and you put it in the right order, and say, okay, well, this I can see with my own eyes. This I don't have to imagine. I don't have to have faith in it. I can just see it for myself, So this woman described things in that way. Like when she was in there, she could step back from herself. She could step back from her conscious self and see things way more clear than she ever had before. Then when she came back, now I've been able to do this without near-death experience. This is how I learned about using the true creator's energy to travel and to communicate with each other. That's how I learned it, just exactly what she described. Everything, her entire near-death experience. She's dying of cancer, and I think she turned that around, by the way, too. I got to finish listening to the story. But anyways, yeah, it was pretty cool to listen to, because she never heard my videos. She don't know who I am or anything, but I've described all what she's describing in same detail. But I'm explaining to you guys, to anybody that might be coming to my channel, that we can do that here. We don't need a near-death experience. You don't have to go to the other side to go to the other side. We can just do that on our own. We all have the ability to do that. We do that at night when we go to sleep. Our subconscious opens up, and then when we awaken, we're in denial about even our subconscious. We call those fantasy and dreams and non-reality. It's the opposite. It's all the truth, the reality, and all that in one. So yeah, I was trying to explain in other videos, and she doesn't realize this yet, I don't think. Again, I'll have to listen to more of her, but you can do it in seconds, milliseconds. You can just close your eyes sometimes, and boom, you'll get 3, 4, 5 hours of information, sometimes longer. Just things that I've noticed when I go in to use the true creator's energy in order to move around or to communicate with each other. I mean, the false creator / creator built a biosystem, feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, using the true creator's energy. And we, the humans, took over from that, and by dividing Adam ourselves and learning how to divide Adam, we went and brought all these other species into play. And so we should be able to look at that and understand that there are some tens of thousands, I don't know exactly how many, humans on this earth that control everything. They always have for thousands of years since they've had us in our zombie state, since we've been zombie slaves. I don't know how many years, you know, maybe my guess is that it's pre-ancient. It's since the pre-ancient time that they've done this, so, you know, tens of thousands of years or more. And every time they have a reset, they can set things up in a new way and make things different for the next time around, and they do different shit, and you can see what they did throughout time. If you look beyond the history and read between the lines of it. Because again, anything written, anything out of our human mouths is all a fucking lie. So really, it's all just a matter of going and seeing things for what they are, just like this lady had just done. This woman has done that. Now, she's the only one. She's the only one. So it's going to be hard for her, because anybody she tells this to is going to automatically bring it back to religions. They're going to try to bring it back to the holographic system. You live in a hologram. They're going to try to bring it back to you live in a matrix. They're going to try to bring it back to they'll use science. They'll use false. Science is all false as well, so they'll use that, and they'll say, oh, that's because the endorphins in her brain when she was dying were kicking in, and it made her hallucinate to this point, and all that kind of shit, right? Same thing they do when you see any truth or reality. They tell you it's a hallucination, it's a dream, it's imagination. And then when you see the fucking lies, they tell you, yeah, that's go with that. Fuck me, man. So yeah, you can go back and forth. I would say the only reason that I stopped using it for months and months at a time here and there is out of fear. When I first realized I was doing it, there were bad energies also in there. And those bad energies, they have experience using the True Creator system, and I didn't. I still don't have as much as them. So they're really good at using it. But what I did learn is that they really can't scare me away anymore, because now I know I can change them up anytime I want. You can do what you want. You can go from time frame to time frame. They'll come in and show you the scariest images you've ever seen, ever. And again, they're not showing it to you seeing it with your eyes. You're seeing their energy with your energy. You're using your energy to view your entity. Your soul is being used, not your actual physical eyes, in order to see things. So anyways, I would say the first, now I used it many times without realizing that I was using it, of course, just like I'm telling you we all do. You know, when you're sleeping and you have a dream, and then you're trying to interpret the dream, and then you leave shit out of the dream in your conscious awakening. You're saying you're purposely forgetting about parts of the dream consciously, because you don't want to face them. Like if you think something is a bad dream, you don't want to face it. You wake up, you have a coffee, and then you go back to sleep a little later. Maybe I ate something or whatever that threw my body chemical off, and I started having bad dreams. So there's physical changes in the present realm, and then also when you go and use into the True Creator's energy, you have a different, I guess that's why they call it a third eye, right? I guess that's the metaphor for it, is a third eye. Yeah, and that third eye is a 360. You know, you can see all around you. It's more than 360, actually. It's more than 360, because it's 360s in all directions, so it's even more than that. can't really talk about anything on YouTube anymore. You know, can't talk about anything. Can't talk politics. My videos get shut down and they get shut out. I can't talk about medical shit. My channels get shut down and the videos get shut down and I get run out. Um, can't really talk about the mineral streets anymore, even if I'm using other terminology. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that was the last video was the Richard Vogue, one of the ones that I got the one strike on in these past 90 days. Oh, I should explain that too, because people will be thinking, you know, the few people that are watching my videos, you'll be thinking, well, it's only 1 or 2 strikes. So if you get 1 or 2 strikes within 90 days, that's okay. You're still okay. It's really not if you think about it, because if you're going to wait for the 3rd strike, then the 3rd strike shuts your channel down. So if you, and also what they do is they let you get multiple strikes. They allow you to get multiple strikes before they even tell you. So sometimes you get 1 or 2 strikes, you know, 2 in this scenario, and then now you're just waiting for a 3rd, and you still have like 75 days left or whatever, 70 days. So they might let you get a couple strikes in the first 5, 10, 15 days of a 90-day period, and then they don't tell you until the end of the month or whatever, you know. Then all of a sudden or they'll tell you about 1 strike but not the other. And then you're like, well, wait a minute, that didn't get strike. I put that video up on the same day the other video was up. So why didn't you strike both of them at the same time? Sometimes they don't do that. Sometimes they'll strike one and then they'll strike another one a month later, and then now you're just waiting on 1 more strike, and then your channel gets shut down. So you can't really post anything after 2 strikes because you don't know what they might strike it on, right? So even right now, the radio is playing when I first turned on the thing. Maybe they'll get it for a copyright strike and say that's a 3rd strike, and they'll take you out. And then, you know, so they're doing whatever the fuck they want. I mean, and it's bad right now. It's really bad. I mean, all the shit that I've been telling everybody for the last couple of years, it's not, wow, that's fucking nice. It's not at all hard to see for ourselves. I mean, we can all go see it and what's going on. And I think the next series, what I've been thinking about doing is, because you have a lot of people doing present